We bought the 8 most popular hip mobility tools off of Amazon, and we're gonna try testing them all out. We're gonna get some objective data as to which ones actually help, which ones don't, or potentially even make us worse, and then we're gonna tell you which ones we recommend. Now, this is a little bit different of a style of video than I've done in the past, and we're trying this out. So if you like it, let us know, and we can make more of these in the future.
Now we're gonna check out Connor's measurements. So first I'm just gonna lay flat on the table so we're testing the same position. Test his right shoulder here, go down, probably right about there, so not bad. Let's have you go over to the other side of the table. Now we'll check out Connor's left shoulder. Definitely a little bit easier on this side. So take him up over here on the left, and yeah, it definitely feels pretty tight for me. What about you?
Yeah, that's the side of the back injury.
Right side is definitely easier than your left for sure.
Yeah, neither feel good.
No. And you see his other leg start to lift up at the very end as we take his right up. So that's how we know he's done. Here's his hip internal and external rotation. So not bad, but we can definitely get that to be a little bit better hopefully today. And kind of similar external rotation too.
How many degrees do you think?
Probably about 20-20 both directions.
Okay.
We're gonna go outward. Actually feels tighter on your right going into internal rotation. Yeah. And then I'd say a little bit easier, actually a lot easier going into external.
Okay. So the first thing we got is the Soaz release tool. You see this all over social media, and ideally it's going to help us release our tight psoas, which might be helpful for us right now, especially for me because I have a little back tweak as of yesterday. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. Trevor, do you think that you can palpate the psoas?
No, I think it's a little too deep for you to get in there, but you see a lot of people use them, and I've heard some people really like them.
Some people swear by this thing. Other people say it's completely useless. So we'll see. All right, Trevor, let's see if we can get into this position. All right,
so
just gonna lay on it. I don't know. You think this looks right?
I think that looks pretty good. It looks like it's at like the right top of your pelvis bones, like your ASIS.
I feel like it's just compressing my intestines.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look the most comfortable, and it actually, that's a little bit better. Your low back was like a little bit more extended before, but.
It's definitely hitting something. I'm not sure it's my psoas, and it feels a little bit tighter, honestly, on my right side than my left, which is interesting considering my left low back is the issue right now. Propping myself up on my elbows actually helped a little bit.
Okay, nice.
I'm actually on something now. I'm just gonna like relax into it, try to breathe through it a little bit. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this is certainly not the most comfortable thing ever, but I think that's probably the point, right?
Yeah, I feel like most mobility tools don't feel the best. How long do you think you're supposed to stay like this?
I don't know. It didn't even come with an instruction manual, that's the thing. So it could be 2 hours for all I know. I'm gonna sit here for like 2 minutes though. We'll see what happens. I'm actually struggling now to find a tender spot. That original sort of tension I felt at an area that could be my psoas is gone. So maybe it's a good time to retest.
Okay, let's do it. So Connor had plenty of time to cook on that thing. Let's retest and kind of see where his measurements are at.
I honestly will say that my back does feel flatter.
Okay.
Maybe about like 20% or so.
So here's his right shoulder internal rotation going down. Honestly, pretty similar to me in terms of how it feels.
Yeah, very similar.
Here's his left shoulder internal rotation. So pretty similar, I'd say. Now we'll check out Connor's straight leg raise. So it's tighter on the left than the right before, but both are pretty stiff. Honestly, that's pretty similar to me.
I think you could go higher.
Right there, and I'm gonna pick you up. So it's a little bit better.
I'd say a little bit, yeah. There's definitely less tension in the hamstring.
Go right here.
It's not like
maybe 10 15 degrees.
Yeah.
Take this leg up. Right there. Yeah. Probably done. Well, they are definitely more even now. I'd say your right's in about the same place, but your left's catching up to it.
Okay.
So here's Connor's pelvis rotation. Going off to the right. Still pretty much about the same as it was.
It's the exact same, yeah.
Then going off to the left, maybe a hair better than it was. You still kind of want to pop up into me. Totally. So if I go one more time, right there is about where he gets to. I'll you lay flat. We'll test your hip internal, external rotation. So over here on the left, actually say maybe about 5 degrees better.
Too.
Yeah, I'm not pushing you that hard. Right there probably.
Yeah,
so definitely a little bit better on the left. Probably about 5 degrees, 25. And actually, yeah, a little bit better into external too. See what his right side looks like. It's not bad, yeah. You basically have like full external on your right.
That feels
internal's a little bit better. Probably about double what you had before.
Honestly, that's not too bad.
Okay.
I still don't think that's like game changing though. All right, now we're gonna use the hip adductor tool thing, whatever this is called. we're going to use our biomechanical knowledge here and put our brains together, and we're going to use this in 2 different positions. This is more of like a muscle activation tool rather than something that's traditionally known for mobility, like something that would stretch you out. But in theory, if this truly does its job right, it should help the adductors better control the joint actions of internal rotation. So we'll see what happens. We're going to try it out in a couple different positions. Okay, we're going to start in this kind of hook line position. This will bias us slightly more towards external rotation to give us space to internally rotate into a little bit. So this should use the adductors in a slightly different way. So I'm just going to feel my foot flat on the ground, head nice and neutral, chin point at the ceiling. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze. I'm going to hold. Well, you think I should just like hold this or do this for reps? What do you think, Trevor?
I think you should just hold it isometrically.
Yeah.
I could see value in both, even kind of like we were talking off camera about doing like a dynamic bridge with this.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of different ways you can use it. So we're not going to get like a full comprehensive idea of how useful this thing is, but we should, based off of these 2 positions, get an idea if it does anything. What I'm really trying to focus on doing is keeping my whole foot flat, getting a little pressure through the floor to make sure that my foot is nice and secure there, but I'm not like trying to activate my glutes or my adductors to do the work here. So I'm just trying to keep everything nice and neutral as I go in and out of this position. I definitely think that this thing would be better if it could have like variable resistance and you can adjust it. Because right now I honestly feel like I'm just pressing about a 3 out of 10 to do this. So it's not really meaningful, but still like you should see something happen with the rotation of your hips and also straight leg raise if this actually works. So how long do you think I should hold this for? Maybe like
I'd say like maybe about 30, 40 seconds, similar to like what you would do like a regular hip lift.
Yeah, let's see what happens with this.
About the same.
About the same, yeah.
Pretty similar still. Okay. Right there, and you're gonna come up. It's about maybe actually a hair better.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar.
It feels sturdier.
Okay. It definitely feels more rigid in terms of bringing it up. So here.
That feels worse.
Right there. It's pretty similar too, honestly.
Yeah, interesting.
So let's see this one. Probably a little tighter, honestly.
Yeah, no, totally.
And then I would say tighter.
Yep.
Yeah, like tighter this way.
Tighter.
That's pretty good. That's pretty similar to the last one. And I'd say that's maybe a hair better.
Yeah. All right, now we're in 90-90. So let's see, because this is more of an internally rotated position of my hips. So now the adductors will have more control over that internal rotation. So I think in theory, you think it makes sense that this would probably help me more than the hook line position potentially?
I think so. You're also in a little bit more hip flexion, so I think it's going to bring your spine into a little bit more flexion, especially if you just tweaked your low back.
I can feel this opening on my SI joint, but honestly, I'm not sure it's like doing it in a way that is conducive to my current needs right now. It feels like there's pressure, but also I can feel it gapping because like literally my SI joint is opening by doing this, but it doesn't necessarily feel like really helpful. But I don't know, it could, we'll see what the tests tell us.
It's pretty similar.
Similar, that right IR is not budged on either of these.
That's a little bit better.
That feels pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. So straight leg raise.
Definitely feel flatter.
Right there,
Yeah,
I'd say.
that feels better.
Yeah.
I feel it less in my low back for sure.
I'd say you probably from where you started when we initially assessed, it's probably about 10 degrees better. But you were starting at like 60 anyway.
Okay.
And then this is your right side.
That feels shitty.
It's still better than your left,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
still better
boy.
than your left.
Okay, let's check the hip rotation.
So here's him going on the right. A little bit easier than the last time, I'd say, on the hook line.
Yeah.
And then here's you on the left. Oh, a little bit better to the left.
Yeah. That seemed to do something.
Yeah, that was better than the hook line for sure.
Yeah.
That's better than where you started too. Probably still about 25, so 5 degrees from where we kicked it off. That feels definitely better on your ER though. Probably still at about that same like 15-ish degrees of IR. And then, yeah, ER is pretty much still about 40, 45.
Yeah. Next, we have this hip stretcher for our groin. So we just turned on our groin, so now we're gonna stretch it out. That should be fun. Kind of looks like a medieval torture device.
That was the first thing I thought of.
That same thought too. So we're reading the instructions to get an idea of how this should work. And allegedly we need to warm up first. I feel kind of warmed up, do you?
I think I'm good.
If we don't know how to warm up, we can Google easy cardio exercises. Alternatively, you can also go for a short walk, run, or jog. to wake up your muscles and the legs for stretching.
So
Nothing helps me warm up more than a nice, easy job.
I was thinking a job interview. I'm just sweating bullets by the end of it.
All right, first of all, this thing seems extremely poorly made. Oh, I wonder if I could... That's not a good idea.
No, you're as long as...
Yeah, this thing feels extremely rickety, and I feel like I might break it. Reaching forward, I've got it. Now I'm just gonna kind of stretch myself. Honestly, not bad. This is not the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Maybe pulling up is the secret. I was trying to pull it straight back.
Yeah, I think like I got a nice little stretch. It's not anything too intense. I'm just gonna like progressively melt into this a little bit more. I mean, maybe if you're like a gymnast or someone that really needs to do the splits or something like that, this might be a good tool. But I feel like I'm actually gonna get to the end of the road here.
Or hit yourself first.
Or I'm gonna hit myself directly in the nuts. That's not what I wanna do. So I'm about to max this thing out like pretty early here. And I honestly don't feel much of a stretch. I think that speaks to the quality of this product more than my flexibility. Honestly, like the premise of this, like I get what it's going for, but it's just like not well made.
So let's check out your shoulder IR after doing that. Maybe a twinge better, but it's honestly hard to tell.
It honestly feels the same every time, which is like abnormal for me. Usually this thing moves, but it's not moving based off of any of this stuff.
This side feels worse.
A little bit, yeah, it feels tighter in my shoulder capsule, most def.
All right, so let's check out his straight leg raises. So this feels tighter to me, Connor.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like you lost a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah, your leg just feels like heavier overall. Let's check Connor's pelvis rotation out, and then going off to the right. And that just feels tighter to me too than before.
Terrible.
It probably lost like a good 15 degrees. And then to the left, his left is still the same as it was after you did the hook line one.
I feel in my back though for sure.
So definitely not for you. That's actually maybe 5 degrees worse, but doesn't feel a ton different.
No, it feels all right. I feel like I'm abducting on that too.
On your ear, yeah, hold you a little bit.
There you go.
Still kind of about the same.
No,
it's actually worse.
No shot, yeah. All right, now we have this hamstring stretcher strap thing, and based off of the last couple of things we tried, our straight leg raises are definitely worse, so we're in a good position to try to improve that range of motion. So Trevor, what do you think? Like it just kind of like, I assume it goes on like a shoe kind of?
Yeah. So that's your heel cup. And then
this kind of goes over here.
Yep.
That's easy, that's straightforward. I feel like I'm in a broken foot cast right here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow. So I'm gonna pull it back. God, I already feel quite a bit of tension. I'm just gonna kind of like melt into this position slowly over time. In theory, stretching out the muscle will help me, get more range of motion. But in reality, like if my pelvis, like we mentioned, is already out of position and it's tipped too far forward or back, then my hamstring's already starting in a relatively elongated or shorted position. So if it's already starting too long, stretching it out more isn't gonna help it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it feels like right now with my current situation. Like I'm able to get back already a little bit further, but I feel like all that tension down through my upper and distal hamstring all the way through into my low back, almost kind of like my sciatic nerve is being pulled on a good bit here because it is. This is tough. And I've just had way better success improving hamstring flexibility with things that don't directly go after the hamstring, more like pelvis position, you know what I mean?
I think if anything, you'll get it back because the more you lift your leg up, you'll just kind of bend through your low back.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like if I go up any higher than this, I am just going to straight up get my low back. I am starting to let go a little bit more. I'm gonna try and go up a little higher. Even if I move through my low back, I'm gonna just do what most people do with this thing, which is push it. We're gonna see what happens. If you are into like the sensation of a hamstring stretch feeling good, like I can see why someone would like something like this. The idea of it is quite simple and straightforward. It's just that, in my experience, this is not the way to get someone to improve the mobility of their lower body in a super meaningful way. But, like there is something to be said about hamstring stretching having value in certain niche contexts. Texas. Context.
Only in Texas.
Only in Texas. You can stretch your hamstrings.
So let's see if Connor's hamstring stretching helped him at all in terms of his pelvis rotation. I'd say about the same here, just kind of bricked. And then if I go this way.
No, absolutely not.
No. You're now you're almost like even side to side, but your right's still a hair better than your left.
I'm fixed, I'm symmetrical now.
You're symmetrical, yep. All right, so take you into IR. That actually feels a little bit worse to me. It just feels like
I feel like my hip hikes up earlier too during that.
if I take you into external rotation,
That's for sure worse.
yeah, it's about the same, honestly, as
Really?
you started at.
Feels worse.
It just, yeah, it feels like the end range is harder, but you're still at about 20 degrees. And then
This
if I
is
take
gonna
you
be.
here-
This is gonna be like
Yeah, that's still like 5.
5.
If I push you, like maybe 10, but it probably feels like your hip just rolls up like right there.
I'm supposed to
Yeah.
have good mobility. That's my whole shtick.
You're at like 40 still, so your IR doesn't change, just like my ER doesn't change on the right. But yeah, so definitely not better after doing the hamstring stretch.
Yeah.
So here's your straight leg raise on the left. Yeah, and it just feels like it's heavier. Right side's actually not terrible. Probably like
How
65.
much better is it though?
It's not much better. It's like you still had better earlier when we tried
Yeah.
other tools.
See, that's
but
the thing though. Like, you know, a lot of people think like, yeah, I stretched that thing, that area should get better. And like maybe it did compared to the last time you measured it by like 10 or 15 degrees. But like you got to consider the whole picture of the whole body. Like other things got worse, but people don't often understandably take that into consideration.
So shoulder IR, that's definitely worse.
Oh, no question.
And for Connor, I feel like when this gets worse, same thing as like your right hip ER not getting better. Like, or I'm sorry,
know.
your right hip IR not getting better. That's generally a sign it's not for you.
Yeah, like Trevor and I have known each other, worked with each other for long enough to know like certain measurements in our body, like when they get better or worse, then everything is probably going to get better or worse. And like you'll find that for yourself too. Like certain measurements are associated with like systemically things improving or not.
Similar, just rougher at the end.
Yeah.
I can't get you down all the way like I could earlier.
Yeah. Now we have an SI belt, and this thing in theory makes a lot of sense. And I'm cheating a little bit on this one because I have used this in the past, but I think it's really important to incorporate in this video. I haven't used it on myself in quite some time, but Trevor, tell them what goes on with this.
So it's going to go around the top of Connor's pelvis, like his ASIS, so those bony knuckles right here. And basically it's going to help him access a more open back side of his pelvis. So it's going to kind of create some length through those glutes on the back, bias that sacrum into a little bit more of a nutated or like forward tip towards you guys position. And this is often when we talk about like different ways people compensate, having these like tight lower glutes, so that tight lower third of his pelvis is going to be a pretty common thing that a lot of people deal with.
Yeah, so I'm wrapping it around just right around below right here. So we're gonna see. I like this one because you can crank it tighter and you want it to be snug but not like uncomfortable. This is called Levo belt. Levo, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I have a friend that makes this one and I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I just think that this is a solid product. I'm happy to shout out products that I think are well made and they can help people, and this is one of those. Probably because it's adjustable, and traditional SI belts fall off of your body really easily, whereas this one stays secure. So I'm just gonna walk around for a little bit. I mean, just standing here naturally, I already feel like more grounded. My feet feel more connected to the ground. And I've used this a lot with clients in the past because it gives them the ability to access that internally rotated position and more like closed packed position of the pelvis.
Yeah, go for it.
Just like that. And that's what a lot of people are missing because they're oftentimes stuck in like a historic position like this. And it's a Band-Aid. It's not a fix, but it can be helpful in the short term. And this already, like my low back already feels better on the left. And remember, I tweaked it literally yesterday. It wasn't a significant one. It's just something minor, but it's actually a really good time to have a bad thing happen because of this video. And I can already feel some relief. So let's see what happens. Let's retest me.
All right, so let's see what that did for your shoulder. A little bit better on this side,
bit.
I would say. It just doesn't feel as like clunky at the end.
It don't feel in my shoulder as much, yeah.
Here's your left shoulder IR. So that's pretty easy
full,
to get down to the floor. So after we did that, Connor's straight leg raises should definitely feel better than they did a second ago because it's going to open up the back of his pelvis more. And then overall, like that's probably the most you've had on your left since we've done whatever the second one we did was.
And to be honest, I had that belt on for what, like 90 seconds?
Yeah, if that. So let's see his right side. So left side, and that's your right, probably right there. So honestly, some improvements on both compared to where we started and where you just were after the last one. So let's check out his pelvis rotation. So before, Connor was maybe at like 45
I can
to the
feel
right.
that's going further.
Yeah, you're probably like 85, almost 90 if I pushed you a little harder.
Wow.
And then to the left, probably right there. So probably another like 10, 15 degrees to the left compared to where you were. All right, so bring you up. Let's see your hip internal rotation. And that is definitely better. It also
Yeah.
feels like your hips hiking up less, and I'm not
Yeah.
really pushing you that hard either, like
Agreed.
right there. So yeah, you're probably at about almost 30.
Ah.
ER, right there. Definitely the best your ER has been at this point,
Yeah.
probably about 40.
Yeah.
And we'll check out your right side, which tends to be the harder one for you. So definitely better than the last one. Probably back up to about 15. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better. You got like 3 times what you had a second ago. And then your ER is still in a pretty good place. Actually,
Yeah.
basically even ER side to side.
That's great, yeah. All right, now we have a Blackboard, and this has been around for a while. Atlas has used this before and got some nice ankle mobility gains. So we're gonna see if it works for humans too. Now, in theory, I really like this because really what it does is it allows you to dissociate the rear foot and the forefoot from each other. And that's actually what happens when our foot changes shape. It's not like when we pronate and the foot arch drops, the whole foot goes down to the ground. Really what should happen is the inside edge of the foot should go down, but the outside edge of the foot relatively moves in the other direction, which is what this Blackboard is gonna help us do. And that's gonna have an influence on our hips. Like in order for our hips to express, let's say, the ability to turn away from that side. So what I'm trying to say is that we should get an improvement at our hips because our foot is better able to change shape in a genuine, meaningful way, which then is reflected at our hips. Okay, so now I've set it up so that way the inside of my foot goes in and the outside forefoot is going to go more out here. So I'm gonna place my hands on my hips like this, and I'm just gonna go through some pronation reps like so, and I'm just gonna get a feel for how this is. I've never used one of these before, so I'm just gonna kind of get an idea for what this kind of is getting at here. I do feel like it is lengthening out my arch to a good bit.
How does it feel compared to like the wedges or what we use for a lot of like the foot stuff that we do?
Yeah, traditionally we use like wedges to get this position rather than this Blackboard. I honestly feel like the wedges do a little bit better of a job subjectively.
I would maybe get a little heavier in your heel. I know that's always
Yeah.
a big cue Connor uses when it comes to pronation. But yeah, it just doesn't look like this is sliding back as much, and we're getting like that foot to kind of flatten out or pancake on the bottom the way we want.
Yeah, because we're looking for the heel to move, and I feel like I might be getting a little bit of that, but not like...
Not as much as I've seen you get in the past in some
Yeah.
of the demo videos.
Yeah. So I just did some reps of that, and that should help me lower my foot arch. And traditionally, my right foot arch is higher than my left. So we're gonna do the exercise to strengthen the foot arch and raise it up, allegedly, on the left side. And we're gonna retest me afterwards. Okay, now we flipped it, and this is gonna help me get into more of a higher arch position in my foot. According to the manual, this should help me strengthen my foot arch or get into that position better on that side. So it's kind of a similar movement here. We're gonna go here and then back. Just gonna feel this out, do this for some reps. Where are you sitting on my foot, Trevor?
I like this one a little bit more, honestly, because at least
feel it a little
we
bit
can
more.
see your arch kind of like suction off the floor
Yeah.
as you come back. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, the idea of it is great. It's just that on the foot dropping one, I didn't feel that quite as well. For the price, I feel like the wedges are probably a little bit better for what I felt. But hey, we'll see what the tests say, because it's all about that objective data.
So let's check out Connor's shoulders first.
Feels a little harder, honestly.
Yeah, I would say a little bit harder of an end feel. Still gets to a similar place. I'll be slide to the other side. This right, so that feels way worse.
That's way worse.
So coming up on this side, it just feels tighter as a whole, honestly,
Yeah,
to me.
it's
And
not
you've
like-
definitely lost.
Yeah, it's worse. It's not dramatic, but I feel it for sure.
And then here's your right side.
I immediately knew that was going to be worse. Yeah.
Yeah, still worse than just a second ago, but still better than your left. All right, so checking out Connor's pelvis rotation after that one, definitely tighter.
Yeah, no question. No question.
And then we'll go back to this other side.
Oh, that feels gross.
Yeah, your left even got a little bit worse. It just feels tighter at the end range. You're probably back to your like original 20 degrees. And then your external rotation, probably still about 40. So as we go into your IR, that feels bad again.
I feel a pinch in my hip. I have not felt that in a long time.
Yeah, it feels like
Just in general.
five degrees is all you got.
That's
if it goes
crazy.
the other way. That feels a little bit tighter. It can still get you to the same like 40, 45 degrees.
Wow. All right, last and honestly probably least, we have a massage gun. Now, it came with this nice instruction manual, and remember, I have a little bit of a back tweak, so it says the prescription for that is to hit my glutes and my iliac crest for 30 to 60 seconds, and my SI joint. Also my piriformis, and we'll try and do all of those for 30 to 60 seconds. We'll see how it feels. I haven't used one of these in a long time.
I actually love these things. They feel really good. I enjoy it a lot more than like the lacrosse ball against the wall type stuff. But I'm curious to see how this goes because this isn't like a Theragun or a Hyper Ice. So I'm going to go work on those areas Connor just mentioned for him. We're going to see how his measurements feel as well as how his left low back feels. So start this thing off at about a 10 out of 30, which is the intensity scale on it. And you can tell me if it feels like it's too much or too little.
I would say it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Okay.
I did not buy the most expensive one, that's for sure.
How's that?
I think that's good. And you know what? I wonder if because I've used these before where they're incredibly powerful. And I almost feel like if it's too strong and you feel too much, you might like reflexively tighten up, you know what I mean? Which would actually be not conducive to the goal, which would be to get this area to kind of relax and get maybe a little bit more blood flow to it. So, maybe using not too strong of a setting or not too strong of a gun could be valuable for some people.
Yeah. Thinking about like out loud now is like we roll sometimes like in one direction with a foam roller and like up or down a certain way. If you could kind of like work like certain parts of the tissue in a certain direction.
Like working with fiber orientation or against it maybe?
That or like kind of the fluid stuff, the stuff that's like a little bit more nerdy that we don't talk about all the time just because it probably wouldn't change how people execute the exercises. A little bit more lateral to his hip.
Oh, I think this thing is going to feel so good on my SI joint. I can feel that all the way down through my pelvic floor, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to go a little bit higher up on your iliac crest, kind of like right where that meets your lumbar spine.
Good. Honestly, less satisfying than I thought it was going to be. You can lift up my shirt a little bit if you want.
Yeah, that way it just kind of gets better traction.
Can you go lower?
Yeah, like here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like right on like where that crest begins. Maybe go a little more laterally. Can you crank it up more?
No, this is the highest. I can push down a little bit more.
That's all right.
Yeah, but I'm giving her all she's got.
Like, I think that this could be good just as a way to like get an initial relaxation, parasympathetic kind of effect. But how much this would actually this isn't going to change anything in your body, you know what I mean?
I've used them a lot, and if anyone here has ever been tattooed near their collarbone, you get like that funny vibrating feeling. Cool, so let's see what your shoulder feels like. So maybe a little different, but it's so close. Yeah. I don't think it's a big change for you.
Definitely not significant.
Easier than the last time, but still not, I'd say like not big enough compared to some of the other stuff we tried.
No.
Let's see what your straight leg raises feel like. So here's your left. Not much different to me, honestly.
Not surprised.
Right there. Yeah, I would still say again, like not much different in terms of tension. So here's Connor's pelvis rotation to the right. That's pretty similar. And to the left, I would say about the same. Yeah. It doesn't really feel like we got much of a change there for him.
Definitely not.
Here's his hip internal external rotation. Maybe a hair better, but not a big change. That's tighter to me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And go over here on his right side for a second. There. Nope, this guy still just doesn't budge. And then hip ER is still about the same. Okay, so felt good, but didn't really give us much of a change.
Agreed. So overall, I would say the consensus is it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on your own individual body structure. It depends on your own individual limitations, because Trevor and I got two different results on a lot of this stuff. I think the thing that would help us both the most was pretty clearly this SI belt, right?
Yeah, I'd say the SI belt and then like the hip abduction thing, but in two different positions, right? Yeah. You were better in 90-90, I was better in hook lying.
Yeah.
And yeah, those seem to be the two that were at least the most consistent in terms of both of us getting changes.
I totally agree, yeah. And I was surprised that the Blackboard actually made us both considerably worse. This may have had the most negative effect on us. But again, we didn't try all the Blackboard stuff. We just took it out of the box, tried the stuff that made the most sense to us. But yeah, and the Soaz thing helped you?
That was really what was surprising to me, yeah. I never would have thought like laying on that thing would produce that kind of systemic change, especially because it just doesn't, I don't think it's still getting to your Soaz probably. But whatever it did, it definitely helped.
It's having some decompressive effect. So overall, like all of these tools are exactly that. They're just tools. They're not gonna like move the needle really hard. They're all supplementary towards a goal. The best way to actually improve your posture, your pain, your movement dysfunction is to have a good program that's addressing your own individual limitations. But I do see a real world in which something like the SI belt or the hip adductor or maybe even the Soaz release tool could be nice to help you either open up some space or facilitate space. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that like we're kind of like on the surface level of describing this stuff because I know the general population is going to be watching this video, but I'm going to release a more detailed overview if you would like for people that want more of my underlying biomechanical reasons for why some of this stuff worked and why some of it didn't. I would be happy to go into much more significant detail that's more along the lines of something that like someone that's like a practitioner or just the average person that wants more information. I will put that out to my email list in an exclusive video. So if you want to get on that, check the link down below in the description.
I gotta ask, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite, I personally think that the torture device was my least favorite.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
It felt the worst on my knee, and
Yep.
then I was just the most in fear for my life of hitting my own face.
For sure, but it felt like it was kind of doing something, whereas the massage gun, it kind of felt useless to me, but that's also a pretty bad massage gun. Well, cool, man. Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, appreciate it.